Yeah, you can hold back on the
stuff,
cream,
you know.
obviously.
It was very good.
Yeah,
It
or
was
if you have
very
heart
good.
and cholesterol issues, hold back on the cream.
Yeah, yeah, and it came out very good, you know.
Yeah.
And it was only flavor, like 1 tablespoon brown sugar and a.
You're gonna get a bit more of an
nutmeg.
earthy
It was good,
undertone
though.
to it that way, which is really nice too, yeah. This, I like the balance of the earthiness from like the leeks, and then like the sweetness from the
Yeah.
potatoes and the
So using
and the
that,
onions.
I see what you do, I'll definitely make some.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, always make it your own. I don't expect you to go home and make this exactly how I did. Maybe you've seen other things. That one's very similar.
Yeah.
That particular recipe, yeah. Yeah, I tend to never use a recipe straight from where I've gotten it. Or like I just look at a picture or something and I'm like, ooh. You know, or someone was saying something the other day about a buffalo chicken soup, like wing soup, and I was like, oh, that sounds nice. And she had the recipe, but before she broke it out for me, I was like, well, you could do, and it was basically almost the same exact recipe, except they added potatoes, and I wouldn't have used potatoes in it. But yeah, yeah.
How would you incorporate either seafood or shellfish? You know, scallops, mussels, clams, shrimp.
I always add them last, always. I try to use, like at the restaurant, it's pretty rare you'll see me using something that was like pre-cooked or for soups, when you see seafood and soup there, I won't, like, if any of you have ever been around for our haddock, I highly recommend it, not just because I'm one of the chefs, or the chef and one of the owners, but I always use fresh and never frozen. You'll never see me using frozen seafood in a direct entree. If on the rare occasion there's leftover seafood, I will freeze it and use it in soups. And the nice thing is you don't have to go out and make a stock. It'll make the stock for you. The base to our seafood chowder, I actually do the onions and everything and the celery in there. And I literally put the seafood in there frozen, sans the shrimp. Or like if you're using crawfish or anything, they cook really fast and then become rubbery. So that's what you want to be careful. So you want to make sure they're small too, so that they're easier to break down. But yeah, I put the fish right in there, and then once everything's soft enough, I cover it with water, and the water boils, and it basically just slowly breaks apart your seafood, so it's nice and tender and supple, and it just gives you like a nice mild seafood flavor versus something like you're taking a ladle of the sea, which a lot of people don't like. I don't like that at all, personally. I know some people do, but that's not at all my thing. And then at the end, when I do a seafood chowder, it usually has haddock and salmon in it, and then I also add shrimp. The shrimp are always obviously detailed. I chop them up pretty small, and then I put it in. And then just wait until they're you know, like a shrimp is like a whitish red color. You don't want it to be translucent at all.
Where do you get your fresh?
I use it's basically like a father-son business that's growing quite large, and it's actually based out of Erie. And Erie, PA, I use a company called Curtsy. They're like a subcontractor of Curtsy's. And everything's fresh and never frozen, like I said. So our haddock is an Icelandic haddock. It's 8 to 10 ounces in size. So when you get like a beer battered haddock, it's like this big at our restaurant. They're huge, very tasty. And basically, it's caught like Sunday, Monday, kept fresh. They'll start processing on the ship, I think. Tuesday and Wednesday they finish processing at the plant right there in Erie, and it's in our restaurant so Tuesday, Wednesday they process, it's in our restaurant by Thursday, and it's kept on ice baths until it's gone. And then
Around this area to get fresh.
it is really, it's very difficult. I have a lot of customers who come to me for the salmon. Like my salmon is a sustainably managed Scottish loch. It's very fresh. It's one of the best pieces of salmon you'll ever see in your life. A lot of people who don't like salmon will eat salmon at the restaurant because of how good it is. I know Shirley's had the salmon before. It's really, really good. I don't know if either one of you know.
I haven't, but I want it now.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I do it in a couple different ways, but it's just, the fact of the matter is it's just super, super fresh. And I've actually ordered sides of it for people, and I can even process it for you so you don't have to worry about skinning it or portioning it down, and I can wrap it and I can wrap it and freeze it so that it's flash frozen for you, and that freshness is just there. And you can just take what you get. Yeah, so I don't have a problem doing that, just so you guys know. I have quite a few customers around town that do that because it is hard to get seafood locally. Yeah. Very hard.
Yeah, from China.
Yeah, or like you gotta be careful with like tuna, especially if depending on where they got it after the earthquakes and stuff like that, or in Japan, you want to be careful because of the exposures there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody ever wants anything like that, I can always order stuff in for you. I custom order a lot of stuff.
When you have
How important is it to devein the shrimp? Because a lot of restaurants don't do that.
A lot of restaurants don't because honestly it's a pain.
It is.
It's kind of gross. And I get mine deveining before they come in because it's tedious too, and there's other things I can, waste my time on in that sense. But it's really not that big of a deal. It's a textural thing. It's not going to harm you in any way, shape, or form. Imagine it getting caught in your tooth. That'd be a little gross, basically. So yeah, it's a textural thing.
They got a little deveining knife for that use, it's really great.
Yeah.
Little plastic job, it works excellent.
I mean, most of them you just put your thumb straight up in,
Yeah.
and you're fine. Yeah. I usually save that for one of the cooks too, if I have to, I'm not gonna lie. It's the privilege to be in the head honcho. What's that?
In your restaurant, do you make any soups with the elephant?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think off the top of my head right now. I don't think anything in there right now doesn't, but if you came to me and said, I know I'm going to be coming in on this day at this time, I'll make sure, and I'm going to want soup, I'll have something set to the side for you. Yeah.
Was it on the day?
Guys, if you ever see I'm pretty sure Sarah included like a chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Right, it's right on the front page there. A really excellent sheet on making your own stock for that is buy bone-in chicken breast. I don't know, does her recipe call for bone-in? Or boneless? On the bone. Put it in the pot, froze it. And this is like a trick that I actually learned like watching Food Network one day actually. But I take it from like a thawed state, like just right out of the rack. I cut like a pocket into the skin, and I shove herbs in there, and then I freeze them. And then what I do is I throw it into a pot of boiling water to cook it, and that boiling water is now your stock. So you don't have to buy stock for your soup because your stock is there. I take like 5 chicken breasts, frozen, throw them into the pot. I boil them for once it boils, a nice hard rolling boil for like 45 minutes, and then they're done. And I have like this giant pot in the back, like that's my soup pot for doing things like that. But yeah, it creates an excellent, if we happen to walk in one day and be like, oh, there's no soup to make today, I'll throw in that, you'll see me doing something like that. And then you can take stuff like that and you can thicken it and do like a chicken and biscuit, for your leftovers, and you're kind of reinventing that same thing over and over and over. Yeah. Any other questions? How's the soup down there so far?
Incredible.
Good. I think he's bringing out a big tray of it for you guys right now, yeah? For those of you who don't know our restaurant, I'm a whole food chef. I try not to take anything from a box, and I say if I won't feed it to my kids, then I don't feed it to my customers. And I'm very, very, very particular about what goes into our kids' mouths. Our daughter didn't know what Kraft macaroni and cheese from the box was until I was really busy working one day and my mother made it for her. Our mothers actually have this cupboard that they think is secret in my house. And it's like down below behind like a door. And I opened it up one day and there were like stacks of SpaghettiOs and I was like, ah! It was like, fire hangers! It's me that it was like horrible because our kids have never had anything like that. But pretty much everything's made from scratch. So like our coleslaw is made from scratch. It's not from a bucket. I make the dressing, everything. It's a broccoli and carrot based slaw. So a lot of people who don't like slaw will like ours, and it's like sweet.
So did they like the Kraft macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, they did. It's loaded with salt. Who wouldn't love it? But yeah. So everything's pretty much made from scratch. Or you can get a full entree. The Friday fish is $9.95. You can get it any one of those 4 ways. I don't make you get just beer battered. And then the full entree is $14.95. It comes with a starter salad, and then you get usually a locally sourced vegetable, which is like green beans or zucchini, squash, something to that effect. And then you can choose baked potato or wedge fry. It's a really good sized meal. People joke that we catch our haddock with whales. They're good size. Yeah, they're good size. Yep.
Is that Fridays only?
No, you can start getting our Friday fish on Thursday actually. During the month of January we haven't been doing dinner services, but next month we'll start. And I highly recommend if you do plan on coming in, the second Lent approaches, do not think you're going to walk in there without a reservation or at least calling ahead and reserving the fish. I can order up as a 40 and 45 pounds of fish and run out by like 6 o'clock at night. It's very, very busy. Yeah. All right. So you can call ahead. Like I have some people that come in on a Friday and reserve next Friday's fish. And you can reserve up until that morning and you should be okay. But if you walked in at like 5:30, 6 o'clock and expected it, you're not going to get it. That's just kind of how it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's also a full menu. Like we usually use use locally sourced beef, and we do burgers. There's like 3 different kinds of pasta usually on order. You can get salads, soups, there's flatbreads, I mean, you name it.